Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 3 of April 2025. To combat cyber fraud via mule accounts, banks are urging for authority to freeze suspicious accounts swiftly, bypassing lengthy approval processes. The Indian Banks Association suggests using AI and ML for enhanced monitoring and verifying accounts opened with voter IDs through the Election Commission database. Apple Inc. assembled $22 billion worth of iPhones in India in the 12 months ended March, increasing production by nearly 60% over the previous year in a sign of continued diversification away from China. The Cupertino, California headquartered company now makes 20% or 1 in 5 of its prized iPhones in the South Asian country. The ramp-up suggests the iPhone maker and its suppliers are accelerating a pivot to India from China, a process it began when harsh COVID lockdowns hurt production at Apple's largest plant. The bulk of India-made iPhones are assembled at Foxconn Technology Group's factory in southern India. Tata Group's electronics manufacturing arm, which bought Wistron Corp and controls Pegatron Corp's operations, is also a key supplier. Apple Inc. assembled $22 billion worth of iPhones in India in the 12 months ended March, increasing production by nearly 60% over the previous year in a sign of continued diversification away from China. The Cupertino, California headquartered company now makes 20% or 1 in 5 of its prized iPhones in the South Asian country. The ramp-up suggests the iPhone maker and its suppliers are accelerating a pivot to India from China, a process it began when harsh COVID lockdowns hurt production at Apple's largest plant. The bulk of India-made iPhones are assembled at Foxconn Technology Group's factory in southern India. Tata Group's electronics manufacturing arm, which bought Wistron Corp and controls Pegatron Corp's operations, is also a key supplier. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has issued a draft on auditing standards for limited liability partnerships in order to bring them at par with companies in terms of accountability and transparency. Currently, LLPs are not legally required to follow any specific accounting and auditing standards. In addition, LLPs are exempted from Auditor's Report Order or CARO, a format for the issue of audit reports in case of statutory audits of companies. The draft has incorporated amendments from the recently finalized 6 standards in addition to revising the terminologies in the context of LLPs. In the draft rules, the standards of auditing will be notified for the first time under the LLP Act 2008. The US has removed import duties on electronics, giving India and Vietnam a 20% tariff advantage over China. This policy shift is expected to boost Apple's exports from India, where mobile phone exports have already surged. Experts believe this creates a significant opportunity for India to strengthen its position in the global electronics market, though long-term uncertainties remain. Honda Cars India Limited has sold its 380-acre land parcel near Ahmedabad to Mascot Group, marking a major shift in Vithalapur's industrial landscape. Originally acquired for future expansion, the land was deemed surplus as Honda's Tapukara plant met current capacity needs. Despite market fluctuations, Indian CEOs' median compensation reached Rs 10 crore in 2025, a 13% increase, says Deloitte India. While 40% is fixed, 60% is performance linked. Other C-suite roles also saw pay hikes. Companies are rethinking compensation amid volatility, with increased scrutiny of stock-based incentives. shareholder rejection rates for new stock plans have quadrupled, signaling enhanced governance and stakeholder protection. As apartments become the cornerstone of urban living in Karnataka, a new financial burden looms large for residents. The 2025-26 Union Budget has introduced a game changer. Housing societies must now impose an 18% GST on monthly maintenance fees if collections exceed Rs 20 lakh annually, or if individual maintenance charges are Rs 7,500 or more. With an estimated 50 lakh apartment dwellers in Bengaluru and another 40 lakh across Mysuru, Mangaluru, Hubli, and Belagavi, the policy is sparking widespread concern. The revised GST regulations mean that even one-time expenses like painting or lift replacement, pushing a society's annual collection past Rs 20 lakh, will trigger the tax. For a society collecting Rs 20 lakh yearly, this translates to Rs 3.6 lakh in GST annually, ballooning to Rs 36 lakh over a decade. Add to that Rs 1 to 2 lakh in auditing costs for compliance, and the financial strain becomes clear. Google is likely to rejig the roles of some of the engineering talent from its Hyderabad and Bengaluru offices and move some of its employees to more revenue-generating projects instead of letting them go for now. This comes amid reports of search giant Google laying off employees from its platforms and devices division, including teams working on Android software and Pixel smartphones. The Income Tax Department has intensified scrutiny of foreign portfolio investors or FPIs in Mauritius, claiming tax benefits under the India-Mauritius Treaty. In the past 2 weeks, over half a dozen Mauritius-based FPIs received notices from the department regarding their tax residency certificates or TRC. The department requested copies of TRC applications. Some FPI administrators declared no permanent place of business in Mauritius, which could justify denying tax benefits. 5 to 7 FPIs received demands to recover taxes on derivatives income. India's cut and polished diamond exports hit a new 2-decade low in fiscal year 2024-25 due to weak demand from US and China. This decline significantly impacted overall gem and jewelry exports, dropping them to a 4-year low. Under parental guidance and mediation, the Lodha brothers, Abhishek and Abhinandan, have resolved their trademark dispute. Abhishek's Macrotech Developers retains exclusive rights to Lodha and Lodha Group, while Abhinandan secures House of Abhinandan Lodha. Both entities will clarify their distinct identities, ending a conflict stemming from Abhinandan's 2015 split and subsequent trademark infringement claims. Deal activity in the domestic consumer and retail markets rose to a 3-year high in the first quarter of calendar year 2025 as investors backed brands that merged tradition with innovation. Topping the deal charts in the March quarter were $2 billion deals. PE player Temasek's $1 billion investment in Haldiram Snack Foods for a 10% stake in the company, and Wilmar International's $1.4 billion investment to increase its shareholding in Adani Wilmar on the M&A side. The mega deals signal growing investor confidence in India's food processing sector. Indian companies' external commercial borrowings surpassed $50 billion in financial year 25, with February registrations at $2.63 billion. Tata Steel led borrowers, raising $750 million for overseas investments. Varanasi Aurangabad NH2 tollway secured over $370 million for refinancing and infrastructure, while NBFCs like Mahindra and Mahindra Financial also tapped into foreign loans. PwC is scaling back its global operations, shutting down businesses in several smaller and riskier countries following scandals and disagreements with local partners. The firm faced client losses and layoffs after being pressured to drop risky clients. This decision follows a fine in China for audit failures related to Evergrande's fraud and another in Britain related to Wylands Bank. The US and UK entities of KPMG International paid $210 million to jointly acquire a 33% stake in KPMG Global Services or KGS from the professional services giant's member firm in India. The deal marks the first divestiture of a Big Four captive in India. The Goods and Services Tax Network or GSTN has issued an advisory stating that Table 3.2 of Form GSTR 3B would be non-editable from the April 2025 tax period. This table auto-populates interstate supply details made to unregistered persons, composition taxpayers, and UIN holders based on data reported in Form GSTR 1, Form GSTR 1A, or IFF. Therefore, manual edits will no longer be allowed, and Form GSTR 3B must be filed with system-generated values. Further advised that any corrections should be made by amending the corresponding values in Form GSTR 1A or through Form GSTR 1 or IFF in subsequent periods. The taxpayers should ensure accurate reporting in their respective forms to avoid discrepancies and maintain GST compliance. SEBI has introduced a standardized format for applications by mutual funds intending to establish a specialized investment fund or SIF to ensure uniformity and streamline the processing of such applications. Further, SEBI has issued a detailed format for the Investment Strategy Information Document or ISID for SIFs. The introduction of SIFs is intended to bridge the gap between mutual funds and PMS in terms of portfolio flexibility. The circular shall be effective from April 11, 2025. RBI has directed all applicants, including regulated entities, to use PRAVA to submit applications for regulatory authorizations, licenses, and approvals to the RBI using the application forms already available in the portal. Applications for which a specific form is unavailable can be submitted using the general purpose form. In exceptional cases, public members who cannot submit their applications through the PRAVA system may submit their applications directly to the RBI. The Indian government has refuted rumours about imposing GST on UPI transactions exceeding Rs 2,000, dismissing the claims as baseless and misleading. The government reaffirmed its commitment to promoting digital payments through UPI. Currently, no merchant discount rate is charged on UPI transactions. Thus, no GST is applicable, reinforcing India's leadership in digital payments. Skoda Auto India has halted plans to import fully built petrol and diesel vehicles as well as battery electric cars till it gets clarity on custom duties. The Czech car maker is also deferring plans to locally manufacture electric vehicles till the Indian government finalizes advanced fuel efficiency guidelines under Corporate Average Fuel Efficiency 3. The President has accorded assent to the Banking Laws Amendment Act 2025, which amended the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, the Banking Regulation Act 1949, the State Bank of India Act 1955, and the Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertakings Act of 1970 and 1980. As per the amended Section 42 of the RBI Act, scheduled banks must maintain their cash reserves with the Reserve Bank. The term fortnight was defined as 1st to 15th or 16th to end of the month. In a move aimed at striking balance between facilitating genuine taxpayers and cracking down on fraudulent activities, the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, or CBIC, has issued Instruction Number 3/2025 GST to streamline the processing of GST registration applications. The latest guidelines, dated April 17, 2025, come in response to increasing complaints from applicants facing undue delays and excessive documentary demands from tax officers during the GST registration process. This new instruction supersedes the earlier Instruction Number 3/2023 GST issued in June 2023. LG Electronics India, the Indian arm of the South Korean major, is likely to file the updated draft Red Herring Prospectus, or UDRHP, of its Rs 15,000 crore IPO with the market regulator SEBI early next month. The company would raise around Rs 15,000 crore through the IPO, which would be an offer for sale by its parent. LG Electronics will be offering a 15% stake in the Indian unit. KNAV, a global accounting and consulting firm, has merged with UK-based Aventus Partners Limited to enhance its cross-border capabilities and strengthen its presence in the India, UK, US, Europe corridor. This strategic move integrates 4 partners and 27 professionals into KNAV's UK operations, bolstering its ability to serve Indian multinational companies, expanding overseas and reinforcing local expertise. Headquartered in Atlanta and founded in Mumbai in 1999, KNAV has evolved into a global player with operations across the United States, the United Kingdom, Singapore, Canada, the Netherlands, and the Philippines. Power Finance Corp and Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency are pursuing legal remedies to safeguard their loan exposure to Gensol Engineering. Gensol promoters Anmol Singh Jaggi and Puneet Singh Jaggi face a capital market ban and charges of fund diversion. The brothers are also promoters of ride-hailing service Blue Smart, which is backed by prominent investors such as BP Ventures. The service, which has an all-electric fleet, went offline on Thursday. Power Finance Corp and Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency are pursuing legal options to protect their Rs 977 crore loan exposure to Gensol Engineering after promoters faced a capital market ban for alleged fund diversion. SEBI's investigation revealed forged letters regarding loan repayments, prompting show cause notices from the lenders. The Income Tax Department is rapidly upgrading its surveillance and compliance ecosystem, powered by artificial intelligence and advanced data analytics. According to leading tax experts, the department's intensified focus on high-value transactions and digital footprints marks a significant shift in India's tax administration strategy. Tax officials are now leveraging AI tools to monitor large investments, property purchases, and credit card spending that appear inconsistent with the taxpayer's reported income. This data is now being cross-referenced with income tax returns, TDS filings, GST data, and foreign remittances to identify mismatches and possible tax evasion. Amid increasing focus by the Union government for the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector, the Finance Ministry has set a target for total MSME credit outstanding across all public sector banks at Rs 17.31 trillion for the financial year 2025-26. This represents a projected increase of 19.5% over the expected outstanding loans of rupees 14.49 trillion for financial year 25. The ITC is set to buy 100% of share capital of Shrestha Natural Bioproducts, the company behind the 24 Mantra organic brand. The deal is set to be valued around rupees 472.5 crore and is expected to be completed in this year's first quarter. It can take time depending on mutual agreement between the two companies. The decision has been taken as part of ITC's plan to expand its range of consumer-focused products. The company said the deal will strengthen its position in the fast-growing organic products market both in India and abroad. Walmart-owned e-commerce giant Flipkart has ended its work-from-home policy, instructing all employees to return to office premises 5 days a week. This marks the conclusion of a flexible remote work arrangement that had been in place since 2020. Flipkart had been gradually scaling back remote work, initially asking senior leadership, primarily vice presidents and above, to increase their in-office presence. The latest directive, however, extends across all roles and levels within the organization. Technology companies are urging the Telecom Ministry to reconsider auctioning the 6 GHz Wi-Fi band, emphasizing the Rs 12.7 lakh crore annual loss due to delays in delicensing. Broadband India Forum highlights the band's importance for devices like AR/VR headsets and Wi-Fi 6E or 7 gadgets, noting India risks falling behind as over 84 countries have already opened it up. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.